People, Facebook, good evening, good night. I hope everybody's well. So, I did a post earlier today asking, I suppose what people struggle with the most when coming to training. So, don't mind if I'm looking over to this side because I'm after writing some things down, points that people were wanting. So, we're going to start with, I suppose, complacency in training, and not only that, letting it fit into the routine of your life. A lot of people have been saying they're too busy. Work's getting in the way, especially when we have our own businesses. And how do we fit it in? Well, I think number one, that's a big excuse. Yeah, big time. I've two businesses of over 100 clients to look after, staff, and I've a 4-month-old baby, or a little over 4-month-old baby at home. I still manage to eat my 6 meals per day. I still manage to do my 45 minutes to an hour training per day. Why? Because for health reasons. If we're working long hours, lads, and we're not looking after ourselves through good nutrition and then training to build and retain muscle to have longevity in life, forget about it. Why are you doing the work in the first place? It makes absolutely no sense. That's especially for Eric, and I know Josh asked me that as well, but especially for you, Eric, because I know I've chatted to you before on this. You have to make time. What would you rather? You're going to, get sick in future years and not be around to have your business, or get sick while your business is running now? And what will happen then? Exactly, the business will probably fall apart and you'll be left taking my advice and maybe looking back on it and having those regrets. So that sort of spells that out, lads. You know what I mean? It's 45 minutes out of your day, 3 to 4 times a week. Anybody can manage that big time. Now we're talking about as well for some of the girls losing body fat. We've problem areas maybe on our belly. Yes, for a lot of people we think we're eating healthy, but sometimes if we have been training a while, it's certainly good. Now it's certainly good to mix up training. Not one thing is going to work, not one exercise will work great for fat loss, but it's a combination of different maybe compound lifts. But then it's mixing up the intensity, it's mixing up your time under tension, how you lift. There's so many variables, angles, lads. I could do an hour or two talking about the same thing there, but we have to mix it up. And the same goes for nutrition. Like, as our bodies adapt to nutrition, say we start on 3 square meals. This is for Diane. Diane, we need to be starting with a more of a higher protein, higher fat content if we're coming from a higher carbohydrate diet, higher sugar diet, which a lot of people are, and I think yourself included. It's far too much sugar, far too much carbs, where realistically we have to bring that around. More protein, more fats, and then obviously get a bit more technical as we go. As our system heats up and our metabolism heats up, it's like that fire. We must feed it that bit more food. Then, as we get into, when we see fat loss, when we see our body fat dropping, we can cycle our protein, cycle our carbohydrates, cycle our fats. Again, this is, I could spend an hour or two. This is only really covering all the questions I heard today. I'm sorry now while I get chained up and die. Then, Dominic, we have, we've some lower back problems, some disc trouble. You were saying to me, you can bear the pain, but what we would do maybe in that situation, we would do a lot of seated exercises. We would be keeping our core tight. And I think for a lot of people, lads, we don't have the right technique anyway. So if we are having, back trouble, disc trouble, and we're trying to protect it, you certainly have to protect yourselves first, i.e. getting into the right position, having that, arch back, doing a lot of seated stuff, which we can do to protect that lower back. There's many exercises we can do. We can do most things seated because we're going to be doing most push things seated. We can do a lot of pull things seated, so we don't have to be putting that pressure on it. And when we do build up that bit of strength, even we could do, a seated squat to an extent, basically with a bench, a box squat, a bench or a box in behind us. Then we're only going down to a certain level where we just want to mainly work on our glutes and our front quads. To get that squeeze, we don't have to be going ass to grass, because for a lot of people, they're not mobile enough to even do squats. But what I would suggest for a lot of people is to do maybe rehabilitation work. It'd be like, single leg work, a lot of Bulgarian split squats, single leg split squats, stuff like that, even pistol squats to an extent. And then, as we get stronger and more confident, then we build up to the barbell squat, because for probably 8 out of 10 people, as their mobility is absolutely crap. It's from years of not doing anything, and our hips are out of place, and they need to be put back in, and then get the balance and then, you know, you can lift with confidence, because I think a lot of people are going in with injuries and then they're getting frustrated why they can't do an exercise that's injuring them, before even thinking that we just have to start with basic and build our way up, and after a month or two we can really delve into that. But also, I suppose, dropping body fat and dropping maybe the problem areas of the belly, for a lot of people, lads, it's just, you know, they probably may have too much fruit in their diet. You know, what does people think they're healthy? Maybe, you know, comment on this video now, what is the problem area, and look into what nutrition you're eating, because I know I talked a bit about, gave you a bit of an idea earlier on, but for many, eating healthy is having fruit for breakfast, a brown bread sandwich, and having a dinner. That doesn't cut it, lads. Like, if you're carrying a lot of belly fat and blood sugar is like that, we must flatline blood sugar to control fat loss in a nutshell. But again, like, you know, I need to know a bit more information from you guys as to where the exact problems is before I can do. Maybe I'm going to do a video tomorrow just on that. So I know this is going on a bit long, at 6 minutes now. I hope there's been something picked up, but if not, comment below and I'll do a more specific video tomorrow. Until then, take care.